Perfect. Well, hello, Kelly Jenrette. I'm so excited to speak with you today. Emmy nominated. Let me make sure I put some respect on you first. Let me put some respect there. How are you doing?
Michael, I am doing well. I am grateful. I am just happy to be alive. Somebody didn't wake up this morning, but I did. So it's a good day.
No, I love that. Now, before I get into a little bit of your past and story, I just think this has been your season for these last couple of years.
Listen, God has been opening doors and also shutting doors, which I appreciate as well. I'm grateful. The last time I worked a 9-to-5 job was in 2015. Oh, wow. And, there's rarely a week that goes by that I don't just stop and I'm like, thank you, God, because I remember when it wasn't like this. I remember.
You remember where you weren't like, this isn't your lunch break per se, okay. Like this conversation right now.
Right. I remember.
Nice. Well, I would love to talk about your current role on All American Homecoming. I think there are certain roles where there's layered, right? And I just think your character is the epitome of a Black woman. It's like you can't be too strong. You can't play politics. It's like you're always stuck in this like, am I doing too much? Can I not do too much? You have to be the mother figure for these people. You have to be everything but nothing for yourself at the same time, which is literally like the Black woman's plight, right?
Yeah.
So with that role, how has it been and how was it just the evolution of it for you?
Going from our pilot that aired as a part of our mothership, our flagship show, All American, I think we just saw the shell of who she was. Like, we knew that she really loved her niece. We knew that there were some issues with her and her sister or Simone's mom. Like, we kind of got a sense like, oh, this woman really loves her niece. And then the evolution of Amara over season 1 and what we are going to see in season 2 is the fullness of who she is. Like you said, she is a strong and caring woman. I think we'll see some of the softer sides of her this season. And I think I just love that she is a whole human being, that she can be strong, but she can also be weak. She can be funny and silly, but she can also be stern and direct. Like, she can move it the way she needs to move in whatever circle she's in.
No, I love that. And I think that's one testament of, I've just finished season, just episode 2, right? Of season 2. And it already starts off where I'm like, Mark can't get a break. She just can't get a break. Like, she can't win for losing. It's like,
listen,
every time she takes a step forward, it's like the show hit her with 10 steps backwards. Like,
I was like, why can't Amara just live? It is always something. This woman is like, it's the 1-2 punch, and then she'll duck and they like, ha, got you. One more, another combination. But I love to see that she just bounces back. It's like, all right, this is what you hit me with. And that's life. We get hit with situations and circumstances, and how do we bounce back from those situations and circumstances? And I think that Amara does a good job of doing that.
Nice. I love it. And I love, in like season 1, right? The thing about her was we didn't know where it was going, right? We didn't know where it was going with season 2. But season 1, we saw this kind of like professor, right? Had her voice, like being the voice of the people. But then it also is where it's like, she's at this Black school, but then she can't do too much, then other women are telling her she should. What about like, just the whole narrative that it goes around, which she has to go through, do you think really represents Black women in just like higher education, corporate America? I just think in this world.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Just women in general, I feel like we have this innate ability to care for people. Like that motherly instinct is just in us. And so it's not just about making sure the children or the students are okay, but like, let's make sure all of us are okay. Any changes that Amara wants to implement is not necessarily, oh, I just think this is a good idea. You know, for her, it's like, no, this is going to make all of us better. Mm-hmm. But as we saw in episode 2, there are those women who are like, I've been doing this for 20 years, and this is how it's going to go. And then I think we have to find room to say, you have, and I appreciate you, I honor you. And now I just want us to see if there's a new way that we can implement some things. And so that's a struggle. I think communication is so key. And also, you know, not being afraid to stand your ground and say, no, we're not going to do that no more. Mm-hmm. The end.
And I was thinking when he told her, he said, you can't be Auntie Amara, you know, you have to be a president, you know.
Yeah.
I think that was such I was just telling Royal yesterday about like that the one thing I love about All American Homecoming, right? I love All American, but with Homecoming, it just shows this kind of this environment of Blackness, right? But how to combat Blackness that also still has notes of Eurocentric corporate type of standards, right, that we accustom ourselves to. And so you see this type of conflict, and then you see this type of matriarchal thing that's been ingrained in Black women to still be caring, but, you know, and then you have Black men reinforcing like, no, but you have to step up too now. You have to stop being this, you have to stop being Mima, you know what I mean? You have to be Michelle, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, and there is truth in what he said, you know, like, while Amara loves being Auntie Amara, there's not really a place for that in corporate America or in the business world, you know? And so I think while she can still maintain the integrity of who she is, someone who cares, someone that listens, someone that's always there for them, absolutely. But then how do you couple that with making sure you get the job done and making the tough decisions? So like with Damon, you know, yes, Amara was like, baby, take your time. Let me know when you get ready. And it's like, but actually, no, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. We need a decision. Like other people's lives are dependent upon this young man making this decision and how he moves. And, you know, so it is trying to find that balance of like, I love you. And also I have a job to do.
Nice. And I think it really showed that in the episodes about the duality, right? Where you not only gave him, like you said, I need 24 hours, you got to give me an answer. But then with the other character, you also, you know, stood up for him in financial aid, because then there was also a time where it's kind of like where they say, you know, one represents the many, or one sacrifice can't be worth the many. So it was like, I think there's like those little nuggets where we see the duality, you know, because the lady came and said, just for one, and you're like, no, you're representing one that is of many that we need to look into, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's where it shows that duality with Amara stepping into her own. So I just, you know, obviously I'm a fan of the show, but yeah, because it takes Blackness on a journey that I don't think we get to see, especially on a network like CW at times, you know what I mean? So, you know, kudos to you and everyone else on the cast.
Yeah, thank you.
But for you, your journey, you know, you said you haven't had a 9-to-5 to 2015. So let me know who Kelly really is, you know, not when we want to talk about Kelly, because we see her on, you know, All American Homecoming, kudos again. But, yes. But who is this woman?
You know, whenever I'm asked that question and when I think about like, who is Kelly, I say I am a Christian Black girl from Atlanta, Georgia, not a suburb, like born and raised.
Y'all be serious about that. Y'all be so serious. Like I'm from LA. And if you say anything outside, they'll be like, that's not the city of LA. Please say something else.
I'm just saying. So I just want to be very clear. My address was Atlanta, Georgia, 30316. So from Atlanta, one of 6 kids, come from loving parents. I now have an amazing husband, and I feel like every set that I am blessed to be on, my prayer is always, God, what is the assignment? How can you use me here? I always want to make sure that I am leaving a legacy that is God honoring, and just showing like love is supreme. We can argue, we can have disagreements, but we need to remember that we're coming from a place of love. And when we're not, we got to check ourselves. Like that's just Kelly on a daily basis, just making sure that I am staying in that lane.
Nice. I love that. Where did this love for acting come from? You know, is your journey like an origin story one where it was like, I've been doing this since I was 4 and I just knew it and everybody's seen it in me? Or were you kind of like a late bloomer and I said, I'm just going to hit it?
I mean, I feel like according to my mom, she's like, you came out the womb dramatic. But, in elementary school, my very first play was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I loved it. I saw the 5 Heartbeats and fell in love with acting even more, and would do church plays, do other plays throughout town. But when I got to high school and time to graduate, I think I allowed fear to set in. And I was like, acting isn't a real job, and so I need to get a real job. And if I want to pursue acting on the side, I can do that. And so I went to Xavier University in New Orleans for 2 years, wanted to be a forensic psychologist. And then I was like, but do you really? Probably not. And so I transferred back home to Georgia State, got my degree in theater, and began to kind of pursue this acting thing. And, had a lot of no's. I promise you, I have 99% more no's than I have had yeses. But I think the thing that sustained me, aside from my faith in God, was my willingness to just keep going. Even when I would have temper tantrums, because I did, as I was like, this ain't right. Why they get to do this and I can't? Why did she book this and I didn't? All of those things where the focus was on me. I think I had to get to a point where I was just like, oh, this isn't about me. It's about what I can give, not so much about what I can receive, because when I give, I do receive. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question, Michael.
No, it definitely does. And I would love to expand on that. It's all about getting to know who you are in your journey. And you said one thing that I think a lot of us always struggle with: fear. How were you able to really let go of that fear? And then even after college, make the move, come to LA, just even give it all away, even, the 9 to 5, it's 2022 and 2015, that's a good time away from, a regular consistent check and, what's coming.
Listen, in 2015 is when I booked my first series regular role. And I was working with an amazing marketing company from home. And my husband, he was my fiance at the time, he was like, all right, you booked this series regular role. And I was like, and what does that mean? Like, I'm not going to leave this job. I don't know if the show is going to get picked up. I don't know. And I think it was part of that fear masked as being wise and using, and not to say, like, I don't want to say, let me say this. I don't believe in being a starving artist. That's just not for me. And so,
I love that.
So I'm like, while I do have this series regular, I booked the pilot, like, yes, but I don't know if it's going to be picked up. I want to make sure that I still am able to pay my bills, because my landlord will never be like, you know what, I understand. I understand that you're in between jobs. When I ask, like, can I get a buy 1 month, get 1 month free? The answer is always no. Like, nobody is going to, they don't care. They want their bills paid. And so, that's part of it was like, I am using wisdom, but the other part was I am scared to let this go, and then we finally got picked up and I was like, okay, I'll let it go. And I think for me, what helped me to deal with my fear is just trusting God more. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm like, no, I did that. I didn't know. For me, I believe God did that. And he has opened so many doors for me that I am humbled and grateful for. And even when I still have moments of fear, I just have to remind myself, like, but that's not even real. Because as actors, we have this amazing imagination, and that works in good ways and not so good ways. And then it's just like, well, I don't have a job and now I'm going to be homeless. And then I'm going to be out on the street and I'm going to have to have a sign. And it's like, what?
You
Go
wrote
sit
your
down.
own script already. You already wrote your own short.
You're doing a whole trilogy because you don't have, like, relax, just relax, sit down. Yeah.
Nice. I think that's a testament to it, right? Because, and then also you had a supporting fiance, now husband.
Mm-hmm.
And how was your support system through like this entire journey outside of your husband?
Oh, my mom, Loretta Phillips, that is my number one, day one. She has flown out here. She's still in Georgia, Stockbridge, not in Atlanta. They moved to Stockbridge. And, she's flown out here countless times to see me in plays that I've done or a movie premiere. She has been so outrageously supportive that it just, like, I get when people are like, no, I just want to do this for my mom. Like, she is that woman. And, I have two dads. My mom remarried, and he gave me a gift, a little elephant. And I open it up, and on the inside, it says, keep going. And, when I have moments where I'm like, ugh, I'll just open it up and I'm like, keep going. And then my biological father, for him, he's like real old school. So it was a little tricky for him when I moved out here, because his ultimate dream is like, I want you to be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And getting started out, like, it don't really look like things are gonna work out. But lately, he's just been like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you hung in there, you stayed, you did it. But I've had an incredible support system that I am so thankful to God for.
Nice. I love that. Has there been any time through that process? I mean, there has been, but I would say where you were like on the brink of like, I'm about to just give this up, not where we had the thoughts, but like where you were like, I'm about to go on Indeed because this ain't it. Like,
the year was 2017. I had booked Handmaid's Tale, shot that October of 2017. Fast forward, now we're in 2018, January. Pilot season happens February, March. I don't have no job. I haven't had a job since October of 2017. And now at this point in my life, 2018, I was beyond the temper tantrum of, I'm just gonna quit. So pouting, it was more like, oh, I'm not working. And so I saw that Azusa Pacific University was hiring a professor to teach drama, teach acting classes. And it was like, you don't have to have a master's, real world experience will work. And I was like, all right, well, that's what it's going to be. And I met a young lady, I saw her at an event at the American Black Film Festival, Corinne, sorry. And she was like, how you doing? And I was like, I'm fine. She was like, no, how you doing? I was like, it's rough. Acting is not taking off. I'm about to get a job. Azusa Pacific needs a professor. That's going to be me. And she was like, no, God is going to open up some doors for you. You're not going to be able to do that. Great. Thank you so much for saying that. So Azusa.
She said, because if you ain't Jesus Christ, I mean, you just telling me what you think I want to hear.
I was like, great, wonderful. And then my husband, I shared it with my husband and he was like, babe, I'm here. Like, I can hold us down for a little while. And then that was July of 2018. And then that was June of 2018. 2 weeks later, I get a call from my agent that I had booked a film, All Day and the Night, with Jeffrey Wright. And then the next week, I found out that I was nominated for an Emmy for The Handmaid's Tale. And so I had to call Corinne and I was like, so remember when you had said what you had said? And I was like, okay, you was right, because I'm not working at Azusa, And so I think for me, that moment of like, I'm not working and I have to pay my bills. And I was at peace with it. I wasn't, because I've had temper tantrums before where I'm like, I'm going home. I'm not doing this anymore, and meant it. But it was coming from a temper tantrum place. And I think in 2018, the difference was, no, it's just this is what I need to do for right now. I'm not saying that I'm giving up, but I got to pay these bills.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I love that. I think that's a great part of your journey that a lot of people don't know, because it's literally right there. And then, being open to other words of affirmation, because sometimes we will get in our own heads and be like, you don't know what I'm going through, or you're just telling me what I want to hear, when you don't know that God, the universe, or whoever you're praying to is speaking through somebody else. You know what I mean? And like, when people say, oh, I thought God sent me a sign, and there was all those memes where God was like, I did send you a sign, but you ignored it. Mm-hmm. So we have 6 minutes left. I like to be conscious of your time. Now at this new place that you're in, right? Starring, all these things are going on. How do you maintain the balance for Kelly to still be humble enough, if nothing else comes, if you have to go through another period, you know what I mean? Because I think it's, people see you and, I'm talking to you like, oh my gosh, but then it's like, you never know. You get a couple more seasons, which is great, because no show should go like to 10, 12 seasons. It was like, whatever we're talking about. But what happens, like, how do you keep yourself balanced when you still have to have those downtimes sometimes?
I promise you, it is my faith. My faith in God sustains me. Mm-hmm. I had to come to grips with, this is a gift that God has given me. And what I'm about to say is not meant to be disrespectful at all. The only thing I want from Hollywood is my check. The only thing I look to Hollywood to provide me with is my check. I don't find my happiness, my love, my joy, my peace, none of that, because when that goes away, if I found all of that in Hollywood, then what do I have left? And so my joy, my love, my peace comes from my relationship with God, comes from my relationship with my husband and the community that he has surrounded me with. And I have the opportunity to share all of that when I go onto a set. And when I'm not on set, then I have the opportunity to share that wherever else he may place me. And so it's really just my faith in God that sustains me and will continue to sustain me, whether I'm working or whether I'm not working. And for me, I consistently walk in a posture of humility, because not everybody gets to do this. And I am very fortunate and blessed to be able to wake up and go to a job that I really enjoy, and not that it's perfect, not that we don't have our moments, but I get to play for a living, and then I get paid, and then I'm also wise with my money. I'm not out here splurging because I don't know if we're going to go to a season 3, 4, 5. And so I have to be wise with my money as well. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Nice. I love that. What advice would you give any up and coming actor, or actress in this industry? It's so hard because people think now it's like, let me get my social media following up. Let me get this, let me do that. And then I feel some people forget, well, still be a good actor, still be good. Okay.
I am still in class. Okay. I am still in class to this day.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite proverbs is, it is not good to have passion or zeal without knowledge, nor to be hasty and miss the way. Some people are so passionate about this thing, and I really want to be an actor and I'm going to do it. But do you have the knowledge? Do you have the skills? Are you sharpening your tool? Are you in class? Do you understand the technical aspect of the craft, the business side of show business? What books have you read? What movies have you sat and watched, not as a fan, but as a student, to understand and learn and try to figure out, like, oh, wow, I bet this objective, and then take that and then try to do that, so the biggest piece of advice, one of the biggest pieces of advice, is to become a student and to always be a student of the craft. Yes, be passionate. Yes, have zeal, but also have knowledge, and then understand why you are wanting to do it. I hear people talk about it all the time. Like, what is your why? Why do you want to be an actor? And answer that honestly. If it's for the fame and fortune, then understand, like, all right, you might get it, you might not. Is it that you want to share your gift with the world? Okay, just have honest conversations with yourself, and don't define success by the world's standards. Don't do that, because if I hate the word just. I'm just a co-star. I just have 2 lines. That's 2 lines more than the other person that didn't get cast. And so just being kind to yourself, being intentional about your craft, and understanding why you want to do this.
Nice. I love that. Well, 1 minute before we off, what's next for Kelly?
What is next for Kelly? I
keep calling you Kelly like we've been friends for a long time. Like we went to college. I'm an alpha. Like you was helping me pledge or something back.
Yeah, listen, big sister Kelly. Big sister Kelly. No, I love it. So I was commissioned by a theater collective that I'm a founding member of, Black Rebirth Collective, to write a piece about Betty Shabazz and Coretta Scott King. And I was inspired to write it from Jeff Stetson's The Meeting, an imagined meeting between Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. And I was like, ooh, I'd love to see a meeting between their wives, because people often refer to them as the widows of Malcolm and Martin, or the wives of, and these women were so much more than that. And so that is currently what I'm working on. It will have its West Coast premiere sometime next year. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Oh, perfect. Well, I can't wait to see when everything comes out. So
yeah.
Well, thank you so much once again, Kelly. This has been amazing. I hope you enjoyed yourself too.
I did. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate you.